Hi.
How are we doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good, 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 good. How's it going? Your system, good?
It's going pretty well.
That's good.
Questions I had, you could probably
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
them, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem.
The assistant treasurer and assistant collector, is that the new pay increase?
Those did.
Or is it ours? That's what I was.
Nope, those are only the adjusted pay increases. The assistant collector position was definitely one of the more priority ones that we saw that was very much under scale
Yeah.
from what it was. So even if we can't fund full pay scale, I think that's one that we need to at least bring up. We do need to bring up.
Yeah, okay. And then on the collector's salary, that went down.
Yes.
Now, is that because Nancy won't be in there, or
Well,
why
the
is that?
63,376 was what Nancy's salary was
Okay.
for the previous year. So 61,845 is a 2% increase on what Sharon's current salary is.
Okay.
From start.
And then the stipend.
It's still the same stipend.
Now, how does that stipend work?
If you have at least the certification as a treasurer or a collector,
Okay.
you're qualified under the Mass General Law to collect that stipend. You just cannot collect the stipend twice. So
Okay.
you can have both, but the maximum stipend is
Yeah.
$1,000.
I just was questioning it where different ones are different ways.
Yeah.
They're done differently.
That was interesting. You can't award anyone more than $1,000 no matter whether or not they have one certification or both. That's treasurer, collector, or.
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one big difference between the two sheets that we had when I brought forward was that we'd like to start adding in the tax title fees as part of the general expense budget. We're starting at a point of 15,000. I think that's a good starting point that would cover our annual costs. You know, last time that we went out, we did this at a special town meeting, we took it from
Yeah.
free cash, but I think we could just roll that into the operational budget and assume it to be part of the general operations of them. It would be a good step forward.
Mm-hmm. That's good. We have money left over from last year in that account? In that account? No.
Not a lot from what was appropriated. I
Mhm.
think we're really down to the last few pennies, so right now we're just kind of on hold until we
Yeah,
get to town meeting.
right. Are we getting caught up?
We are.
Very
We're looking good. We have a good team.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see. If we're on schedule, that'll certainly help the financial situation. Question? Nothing?
No.
And Sherry's really done a great job in a short time. She's been.
I would say,
really
Yeah.
pulling
to get caught up.
everything
Thank you.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a good support system.
Well, that's what we're looking for.
Still smiling, that's good.
It's going to take a lot for me not to be smiling.
Okay. We'll look forward to the smile then.
What do you hope to accomplish this year? If you got any?
This year, I'd like to wrap things up in June with Jean, because I know she's got her sights set on that.
Yeah.
I think it's a high bar, but that's what we're shooting for. Instead of making her crunch, she's sort of had said that she doesn't want to be scrambling at the last minute, and I don't really want to be working like that either. So we're working together
Yeah.
to try to get things in order
That's
so we
good.
can all have a summer vacation. That's what we're hoping for.
Does anybody else got any
That's
questions?
good to me.
Sounds good. Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your work with that, Andrew.
Now, the building. One of the questions I had was the zoning enforcement. Is there are we not doing a zoning enforcement?
What we're gonna do is we're gonna actually change that to a $500 stipend, and it's basically going to be that that person is going to be on, kind of like an on-call in the case that Brianne is not available to do inspections.
Okay.
But I figured the 5,000 amount that was appropriated for just really an on-call was a little, might have been a
Yeah.
little much.
So you're gonna put it 500 in
Yeah, it's gonna
there? Okay.
return to 500. We're working on some amendments to the current agreement between the towns.
Mhm.
That was one of the question marks, was how we're gonna handle that one, because it was originally in there as an hourly rate, but it's leaning now more toward a stipend position.
Mhm.
Could you go over, this budget is for the jobs for all the towns,
That's correct.
right? And so, how does that work?
Um,
Just go over that again for me.
So each of the towns is assessed based on the amount of time spent in each town.
Mhm.
And it is taking some fine tuning because it was an estimate, and we're,
Yeah, obviously, right.
about a year into it, and we've been looking at the numbers, and that's one of the things. We have a meeting that was supposed to be Monday night, but it got postponed to
Yeah.
kind of crunch some of those figures and take a look at how it's worked and what
Okay. I
adjustments
mean,
need to
that's,
be made.
that's working out, you're happy with that?
I think it's working out great.
Great.
We're getting positive feedback from all the towns, and it's helping to offset the costs in each of the towns
Mhm.
also.
And I know that our church was doing a project, and they were very happy with the response.
Oh, good, thank you.
So that was good.
Thank you.
Now, how is, on the books, how is the other town's money coming in?
It's coming in as, into the general fund.
Into the general
We
fund?
do 2 billings per year. One is basically just kind of level fund from the previous year. The second one looks at once the account is closed, really what or once the budget's really approved, how much it is for the remaining of the fiscal year. We do have some amendments that we're gonna be looking at for the next year, just to make sure that everybody's contributions are equitable. Now we've had a year where they're looking at everything.
So 2019 was the first year?
2018 was really the first year
Oh,
of
was
the
it?
first
Okay.
full year of the agreement, so 19 has kind of been the year that we've looked back on 18 to assess the things that, worked, could be adjusted, so we're looking at 20 to implement the changes.
Yeah. So that we'll know whether we're getting enough money from them, right?
Right, justifying cost for service and stuff like that. Because the way that the original agreement was built on was hours spent in each town.
Mhm.
So now we're kind of looking at that, the hours versus the actual permit activity.
Mhm.
So does the permit activity really reflect the amount of hours that the individual towns said or had stated what their typical activity was? So that could lead to some sort of adjustment to when we kind of sit down and hash
Yeah, it sounds kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Come
say
in
they're
there,
like,
come
Yeah,
back.
I only saw her for 2 hours, so she must have worked.
Yeah,
for
you
2
come
hours.
back to the office and work on some paperwork for that same job, and then another job comes in on top of that, and, I don't know.
And there's fluctuations too, where
Sure.
if one town has a large project going on and
Yep.
another one doesn't, that can throw off the numbers a little bit. So Andrew and I talked about looking at sort of a 3-year period to see what the averages are, to come up with a
Mhm.
hopefully more accurate.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in Barry and the
Tricky.
call comes in from Hardwick, you take it, You don't
Right,
say, it's
exactly.
not Tuesday, I'm not Hardwick.
Right.
Well, and the
right?
other
So
thing is,
You can't, it's hard to figure all
the other
that,
thing is
yeah.
most of my work I do through Google, so it's cloud-based.
Yeah.
So I might be sitting in Barry, but typing a letter for Peterson
Yeah,
or New
right.
Braintree. I mean, it's not necessarily, what you see isn't
Yeah.
necessarily what's
Right.
happening.
That's
So I'm
what I
trying to
thought.
keep better track of
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what I'm doing all the time.
Right.
Sounds
So,
good.
yeah, it's definitely working on it.
And you'll
Good.
let us know what you come up with?
Yes, yeah, so once we finalize the agreement, we have something to copy.
Great. I heard you have an electric car. Did you run out of juice yet?
I haven't, but I'll tell you, it does not like the cold weather.
No.
I have had to reschedule inspections for the simple fact that
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't make it there.
Oh,
Yeah.
It only gets about 70 miles in the wintertime
Right.
and get about 115 to 120 in the summer, but I have to plan carefully in the winter, especially going, covering the 4 towns that I cover.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mileage there.
Yeah, that is one downside of the
Yeah.
batteries.
Yep.
You could get one of those wind-up things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
right? Just like Craig, as I'm
Yeah.
driving.
Like they have for the radios, right?
Yeah, or the
Wind 'em up.
Flintstones, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Oh,
We did a
Lord.
generator with some stuff, with a tie downs at the top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Now, the clerk's salary, is that an increase in hours or step
That's
increase,
just,
or what is it?
that was a salary adjustment. There was no adjustment in hours, although we were, one thing we were just kicking around, it's not built into this, was just whether or not there was any availability in that position to work as a function of the other towns, just to kind of broaden out
Yeah.
the regional aspect of that
Mm.
department. At this point, it doesn't look like that because it would be more on-site work, but right now, that doesn't reflect any hourly change, just the salary change.
So this is if we pass that
Right.
adjusted salary?
Right,
The adjusted payroll. It's not just the 2%.
right.
Now, I'm curious. How are the inspectors paid?
The
They get
plumbing,
the stipend, but they must get something
they get
besides
their
that.
fees. But I don't know if they get all of their fees, that's
I believe it's 80%.
okay. Yeah, that sounds
80% of
right.
the fee?
Yeah.
Because I had never really known how those stipends worked.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I thought, I wonder, because that can't be all their pay.
No, and also they're not a part of the regional agreement. I'm the only one who is.
Oh,
so,
okay. So they're
no,
not.
So they're not, no, they're just for Barry.
Yeah, so the $2,000 stipends and then the $5,400 expense are
Yeah.
outside of what is outside the original agreement.
Okay.
Everything else, the 720s, 250 to 3,000, and then, I'm sorry.
Those are, the
Oh, I'm sorry, the
5,400,
5,000.
that is,
Okay, I'm
because
sorry.
that's
Misspoke.
that's our in-house expenses. The other things, the training, the cell phone,
Okay.
travel, that's divided amongst the towns.
Yeah. And the clerk one is not divided. Forgot my breakdown sheet.
How's the building permits coming in? Are they, is it looking up or down, or?
I would
Same.
say that we're a little slow right now.
Mm.
It was busy all summer, but I mean, this is always a slow time of year.
So it's hard to tell what's gonna happen.
It
in
is.
spring.
We had, a few new houses. IMS has some residential units that they're building. They've got 5 residences that they're building for staff. So
Mm.
we've got some things that are going on. Yeah.
Good. That's good. All right. Good for me.
Yep. Good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
for your-
Thank you.
Looks good.
You're welcome.
Glad that's working out.
Yeah. Now, conservation, planning, and zoning, are they coming in together? Right?
2 out of 3.
Right here.
And Josh, I just walked out. Your grads, I'll take them all at once. Okay.
Come on.
But this isn't, this is.
She's got
Sure.
I got a meeting at
Sure.
7.
Oh, okay.
I have a meeting at 7.
We'll do this.
Pick a number.
Mine is very fast.
Pick a number, yeah.
Mine is very fast.
Pick a number from 1 to 3.
This is a South Berry Common.
That's the
And we would like to
$500.
thank you for a $500 expense account last year, which covered our porta potty, which helped with our concerts and the Quabbin Community Band. And if you can find it in your budgets to do it again this year, we'd just be grateful. So,
And that's
So worked
for
out.
the
it
porta
covers the porta
potties.
potty. And if there's a
Okay.
little extra, we'll use it for deserving expenses, but that's it. And we had it all summer. It did 6 bands, and the Quabbin Band enjoyed it too, because they were coming in on Sundays, and nobody was going in the woods. It was like, okay, this is really working out.
that's
So
good.
if
It's
you
worth
can-
it.
If you can find it, we'd be grateful. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even know I see it. Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Glad that worked out.
Yeah,
See you later.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, that was that one done.
Next victim,
Conservation.
Yep, conservation, planning, and zoning. They're
I'm
all,
planning, he's,
well, they're all
planning
on
and
one
conservation,
now,
But I'm planning, he's conservation.
right?
We
They're
really
up-
only have one line item, and then the salary is on the top, so.
We don't get
Because
anything.
we get just a one sheet for free, so that's what we get.
Well, Doug was supposed to come tonight for planning, but couldn't make it.
So I didn't know if there was one person now.
It's one
With-
person that runs it, not this. So, all right. So. I
How
just
is it
wanted
set
to-
up?
So it's basically set up that the land use side of this is on the staff, and then underneath that, the expenses. So planning board, general expenses, consultant is still there.
Mhm.
ZBA expenses and conservation expenses, so.
It's under land use. I had trouble finding it. And I put.
I'll find it tomorrow.
That's what's going on. Where did I get land use? I bought it.
Ta-da.
Did you find it?
Page 26.
Well, mine aren't numbered.
You're gonna put in for an electric car, but I don't think so.
No, you're not gonna.
Only
Maybe
for the
electric
summer,
tablet.
summertime.
Must be this one.
Funny, I did see somebody with a Volkswagen had one of those, like the old wind-up keys.
On the back.
On the back.
Big one, they're big, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so their consultant and the general expenses are level funded.
Mhm.
We have a $600 request to purchase a tablet software, so.
It's like an iPad type of thing,
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
pictures, does all kinds of stuff,
Well,
yeah.
it would be handy because Ronnie has an app on his personal phone that, for his business, it shows, we can't just go on people's property without their permission. But these apps will show you exactly where you're at, the property lines and everything, so that if we don't have the person's permission and we have to go look at this piece of property, it shows us exactly where we're at. And, oh yeah, this thing's nice, a nice app, but it would be shared with the departments, so, you know, that's what's nice about it, you know, we're not using it, they can use it,
Yeah.
or anybody can really.
Good.
And it's, the expenses for the tablet, the fees, I think are $100 a year or something like that for the satellite app. And I'll tell you, it's, you walk here and go outside and that thing moves with you, it's scary.
Yeah.
But so the fees kind of keeps everything updated too.
Yeah, they take care of all that.
Good,
Yeah.
super.
It's a handy tool.
Yep.
And then the salary, now Mary Ann's gonna work for all three,
Yes.
and it's on one line.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
No change, that was just the salary adjustment.
Now, how did you come up with the 17 hours?
That was the amount that she's always had.
Between the.
Because our planning was 7, zoning was 7, I couldn't find my conservation. The old one, I was looking back for the old one to see what it was, and I couldn't find it.
It was a combination, I remember it was a combination of all three, it was the 17 hours. I'm sorry.
Last year's conservative.
I don't have the, do you have the last year's with you?
I don't.
Because I didn't have it in my book. You don't have
Last
that?
year's.
Well, I've got them, I'm putting them in another binder, but I didn't have the
Submitted stuff.
So I was just curious how you came up. I didn't
Yeah,
know
it was the total of what was appropriate.
Zoning, I don't think had 7 hours.
They had basically 250,
Yeah.
or was maybe $1,000 appropriated, but
Okay.
that was.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like if you're sitting there in a seat and you gotta try to decide like what time,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
using my time, it makes it a little bit more difficult, so I
Yeah.
basically just pulled the hours that were
Yeah.
budgeted for the 3, so that way there's no question, it's, you're working on whatever you're
Mhm.
working on.
Yep,
Makes sense.
yep, that was a good idea to do that. And then our regional planner, what are they working under?
So that's a new, new position that I was looking to add. So we have, right now, we're in a regional economic development director agreement between ourselves, Hardwick, New Braintree, Ocam, and Hubbardston. And the original grant was funded for 1 year. It was like a $90,000 grant that we ended up getting for this program. There's enough left over to basically fund 3/4 of a whole another year for under this. But we're looking at beyond just the first term of the agreement and kind of how it becomes sustainable.
Mhm.
And I think that the best bet, if not all 5 towns end up moving forward with it, if it ends up just being 3 towns, or if it there's a combination of different towns, the best thing to do would be to make it into a regional planner / economic developer, so that way he can kind of have that dual focus of being professional staff to the planning board, but also with a focus on economic development. So the $5,000 is basically what would cover that last quarter of the year under that grant, to stay in that agreement. And then the next year would be whatever that 1/5 or that 1/5 assessment would be total for the salary and expense.
He's already an associate member with the planning board, Todd Miller.
Yeah, yeah, I've met him.
Sharp cookie.
Mm.
He's a pretty likable guy.
Is this a full-time job?
It is a full-time position. Yep.
He's only been working as an associate unpaid with us.
Yeah.
He's currently working with Hardwick and a couple other towns.
Yep,
On
Harlan,
the
Braintree,
grant.
Ocam, and Hubbardston, and us as this economic development director. But a big focus of that economic development is on zoning, is basically zoning related, and what type of zoning issues should, kind of spur new economic development. So that's, I think, where the 2 positions really fall hand in hand, could really work out well as one person.
He's been really helpful.
So what do we get out of that for the 90,000? Do we get a report or?
So we do meet monthly with him. He gives us an
Okay.
update. He's currently actually working on a website that is kind of like a platform for economic development, so it has all the resources, so that way that'd be a link to our page that anybody who's looking to build or look for available support in locating a business in town, or moving to town, or looking for that type of support, would have somewhere to go. And he would kind of act as that liaison between the town, the business community, potential businesses wanting to move to town, and then looking at what barriers may be in the way of preventing somebody new from coming here.
Mm.
He lives here too.
Doesn't he live in Ocam?
No, he lives in Barry.
Oh, does he
Used
live in
to.
Barry?
His
I think he
mom's
used to
Pam.
live in Barry.
Did you know his mom, Pam? She used to be a police officer in Ocam.
Yeah,
That's his mom.
yeah. Okay. Anybody got any more questions?
Sounds
No,
good.
that's good. Thank you.
That didn't hurt at all.
No, and you're in time for your meeting.
I got a minute to get upstairs with the elevator.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
What happened to Joshua?
Yeah, we can do.
Sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, it's all funded, $250.
Yeah.
I think that's for legal fees, or for newspaper postings.
Okay, so conservation. And they're level funded.
Yeah, there's been no change in anything.
See any forthcoming in the next year?
No,
Yeah.
not really. There's been a few, we have a few issues right now, but hopefully we can resolve them. DEP's having us do a little more of their work, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They get the call there and then they transfer it to us.
It's easier to just flip it like
Yeah,
that than it is to
yeah,
get up
you
and
know.
do it.
If they need to put teeth into it, they will, but
Yeah.
generally we can resolve it on our end. But I probably have 3 or 4 things going on with him right now.
Yeah.
So,
So you'd be using a new tablet possibly too? You could do something like that.
yeah, as far as, a lot of it I use my phone too, so makes it easier.
Yeah.
Like Dennis says, I have the app on my phone for doing boundaries or anything if I need to know
Okay.
things like that, who owns a property, I can pull it up on my phone pretty quick.
That's good.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks all right to me.
Yeah. Anybody got any more questions?
No, that's good.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for showing up.
Thank you. And there's recreation. Who's for that?
That would have been,
Oh, and she,
yeah.
oh, she didn't.
It's level funded. So,
I was just interested in what they planned on doing with it,
I know that they do a
you know.
grant program, so, or they are, but I solicit requests for funding. I believe that that's what that funding is for.
I thought maybe they might have some new plans for new stuff in town.
You should grab Dennis, Dennis is on that committee too. so-
Yeah.
I didn't know who was on there.
Yeah.
I didn't know who was on there.
There's one question I had is that whatever they're doing, is that all right, money level, all right?
Yes, yes. I think they basically take that 6,000 amounts and basically make it available
Yes,
for
that is-
people's
yeah.
request to use. They basically have to say, board to say, yeah, that's a good project. No, it's not.
Good.
I was just looking to see if what they've spent on theirs. I can't find it. Oh, here it is, okay. They've spent $83.
Oh.
So do they really
Yeah.
need all
Well,
that money?
Springtime.
But the previous year, they expended $5,995. So I know that their grant program runs to December, or the request run to the end of December, so those funds are usually divided up and
I'll have to
at the
watch
back
that.
end of the fiscal year.
We'll watch that and
Yeah,
see.
they usually open up in September, open for requests till the end of December. But you figure most recreation things don't happen until the spring anyway, so I'm sure that's what most of the funds end up getting sent out.
Okay, the Youth Commission?
Got some young dudes right there.
Yep.
We're all here.
Good.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Good.
Guess I'm wondering what you folks planning to do this year, that's,
Yeah.
what's the program?
Well, last year we tried every other week, but it's just the three of us, so this year we kind of went to a once a month kind of event, because we're not getting parent volunteers to help us out, so
It's hard.
every other week was kind of a lot, just for all of us,
Oh, yeah.
where we got other kids, so we're trying to do once a month events. We have a dance coming up, day after Valentine's Day. So, and we did have a little miscommunication with the DPW, and they cleared out most of our stuff upstairs. Yeah.
Tables.
Are you
the-
kidding?
The gaming tables too.
Yeah, so we have like a pool table left at the moment. So my son gave us his TV, so we have a flat screen to
What'd
go
they
up there
do with
now. They brought it to the dump.
but if it wasn't
There were
broke-
broken things there, and there was stuff, but I think there was
It separated
miscommunication
everything.
of, this TV was broken, but they weren't,
That's not
plugging in,
I
trying things,
remember you
and
telling me, this
Yeah.
pile right here, that's
Yeah.
it.
everything kind of.
Well, that's a huge sign up there on the whiteboard.
Yeah,
Only
so
this stuff.
I think it's just a
Maybe we should
miscommunication.
take it off there.
Yeah.
Their budget for next year.
Take $1 grand out of their budget and put it over here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we're
They get by
trying
with that,
to,
Andrew, with you here.
The elevator.
You go Sandy.
but I mean,
Yeah.
it was seriously like, I mean, there were broken things, and there was a big, like, old TV. One worked, one didn't, they took both.
We had one
Well,
ready.
you
So,
put
well,
one
one
in
in
and out, yeah.
You know, I mean, I think it was just a miscommunication, I don't think anything, it was just
Well, when
accidentally
you're-
taken. And
I've learned,
You gotta-
when you don't want things to be moved, you put a big sign on it.
She
Don't
said there was
touch
a
this.
sign.
Touch.
We brought, and like, we took everything off the stage and we made a big pile like this here. Take this.
And you did, you
And-
said this pile.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, we're coming on Tuesday morning. So we came and we sat for a couple hours and nobody came. And then I talked to Jason again and sat for a little while and nobody came. I'm like, after the third time, I'm like, I'm not sitting up there anymore. I got other things going on. And
Yeah.
so it just, but yeah, so that's our now is trying to get some other things up there for them to do besides just the pool table, because they like to play ping pong off the wall.
Yep, and that's one thing
Yeah.
that disappeared.
Well, that one was broke, the ping
Yes.
pong, yeah, that broke,
But the other
so-
one was gonna get fixed.
Yeah, so we're working on getting some more things up there for them and more activities planned each month, and they seem to like the pizza party and the soda and the snack cakes.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
They get to go there, hang out with their friends.
Good, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Have you looked online for donations for stuff?
We have, and we had something that fell through again, but we are trying with getting like Craigslist and stuff to
Yeah,
see
well,
if
this
people
is,
will.
Watch You
Yes.
chat
Yeah,
or
I'm
something?
on there, yes.
Because that group is fantastic.
Yes, and I've missed out on a lot of pool tables and ping
Yeah.
pong tables.
Well, if you just
Yeah,
Make a post.
say you
Looking for,
are
yeah.
looking for donations.
yeah. Because I had posted before, and then suddenly our teen center was being shared around there. Like, oh, this is something we could bring our kids to, and it's like, actually, you can't. This is local for our kids.
But there's a lot of good stuff on
Yeah.
that one I found.
Definitely.
I was looking for clothes racks for our fair,
Oh, yeah.
and I posted on there within 5 minutes. Somebody answered me and she said, you can pick mine up and use them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we didn't have to buy any or
Yeah.
anything else, you just,
Yep.
I thought, this is a good site.
Mhm. Yeah, they have a Wachusett web sale at Mountaineer Mamas for
Yeah.
kids stuff. Yeah, I've been.
Yeah, because they have good
Yeah.
things.
Thank you very much.
So you'll continue once a month?
That's our plan, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
Thank you.
Looks good.
Thank you.
Cheap and going right through.
These were done, except for Christmas and Mary, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Who's gonna tell us about our Christmas and Berry?
Okay. How much did you say it was for the lights?
For just the bandstand, it was 2,000. The company,
Yeah.
do you have the copy of the
Yeah, but I think
contract?
it still had, that's not accurate.
It was $2,022
Just for the bandstand?
just for the bandstand.
But that's having a company do it.
That's having a company do it, and they maintain it. If there's an issue, they come and they fix it. If
Mm.
the wind blows and a light hangs,
Mm.
they come and fix that. Timers, and what I do is we get the contract in September. If we pay it in full, then we get the 5%, the 20% discount. So we pay it in full, so we can get that discount. And we tell them when they come to put it up and when we want them to take it down, and it works out great. You know, the bandstand is so big, even men helping us, we couldn't do it.
Or, you know, it's high, so, you know, somebody falling down.
And before that, we had the big shrubs, we were using sticks and poles and trying to get the net lights around it, and
Yeah.
it was just, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. So what we were doing with the original fund that was given to us by David Tuttle way back was $1,500. So what we did was anything that we got from donations or fundraising, we put the rest in. And because we were doing that, it didn't cover the 3 commons, the Nornay, the Berry Plains, and up here. So we always made sure we had money for them if they needed to replace lights or whatever. So they didn't go without either, so. And grants, we do apply for grants too to cover the events for the day. Cultural Council, Recreation is one of them, as a matter of fact, I already applied for December for that, magicians, so. So we do, you know, donation letters to businesses and private people, give us donations, grants, fundraising, besides what's covered for the decorations. It covers the day. Basically to have,
$2,100 for decorations.
How much?
The 2,100, well, right now it's in there at 15, but it was just a carryover from, I think, 18 carryover rather than 19, it should be 21. To cover the cost of the lights.
I don't know if I got this paper.
It's under areas.
The various, yeah. And it's 1,500.
Yeah, 1,500 was on here, in 19 we funded at 2,100, it should have been 2,100, but 15 that,
because I have people that have contacted me. I know the church in South Barry, the Assembly of God, they're thinking of pitching in to help with things. And there are
Sharon
others.
Yep, Sharon has spoken to, what's the one over here? Covenant Evangelical. They're gonna help, they helped us the previous year. They've already told Sharon they're here to help us again this year. We have on our Facebook page, we're gonna have an informational night, so we can explain exactly what we do, if people wanna help. Some people said they couldn't help, but they don't wanna donate. Some of the church groups are gonna come help.
And
We're trying to get back.
also, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. I know we use them in Phillipston, and they are fantastic. And a lot of them need to earn badges and stuff.
We've actually tried with the high school, because they have to get their community
Oh,
service.
yeah,
in.
those too.
They'd say, yeah, we're gonna come, they wouldn't show up, or we just.
And
couldn't
then,
depend on that.
do the Historical Society get involved?
They do, actually.
This is what I was curious on, who gets involved?
We do, the First Parish Church always donates, because they love how the common looks. So we do get a donation for that, and that actually helped us to pay the difference with the bandstand before we got that increase. So we always make sure that particular donation is strictly for decorations.
Mhm.
Anything else we do is for the events. So, Santa Claus, every child gets a gift. I go out on a Friday night, we go to the dollar store, Sharon and I, we try to find at least 250 gifts for the kids. Anything left over, we use for the next year. But it's a free day for everybody. They come in, they have fun, they don't have to spend a penny. It's for the family and for the kids. Lights go out on North Common, there's Sharon and I out there in the mud, trying to figure out, did the extension cords get wet? Is there moisture in there? He's laughing, so you know.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Outside is not easy.
You mentioned a website for the committee? What-
Facebook page.
Facebook,
It's
okay.
under Christmas and Barry.
Mhm.
And we'll list.
Yeah, because if that gets publicized more,
If it what?
gets publicized more.
Yes, yeah.
So
and
it'll
that- and
pop
that's-
up all the time.
And that's what we're working on. As a matter of fact, my son Joe is gonna help us get more stuff out there. We do flyers, program booklets that gives people a list of the events that are going on for the day. My son helps us with that. And where he works at Staples, we get a little discount, but.
Yeah.
So we get that out there for people. But now that we're trying to reform, we're trying to get a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
word out there. So, I mean, the Lions were great taking, the parade was a big expense also, because we had the, Narragansett band, they were expensive, they were $500. And we had somebody donate their time with the bus company to go pick up those kids and bring them here. He retired, so we didn't have that. So, this is the first year we didn't use the Narragansett band.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought we had the
We have
Quabbin
the school,
band.
and we would prefer to give that money
Yeah.
to our own local school,
Sure.
but we couldn't, it was too cold, and they didn't wanna march, and blah, blah, blah. So however Stan did it, it was like, Stan, oh my God, we're gonna depend on you next year.
Got
if
him on
you
a
can
trailer,
do this."
that was the
Yeah.
fun part.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
They didn't have to walk.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how that happened, but it was like,
Yeah.
do it again next year. So,
Sure.
That's where we're at. Sharon and I are trying to build it back up and keep it going.
Sounds good.
I mean, Kathy helped us do the urn.
Yeah.
It's cold when that wind's blowing and you're trying to put those lights up. But she didn't, it was
Good.
great. She just called up one day and said, I can come help, so. And we have everything, everything's in the town hall. We have an inventory of everything,
Oh, that's good.
so we keep track.
Great.
Yeah, we donated the tree to the town, the Christmas tree on the bandstand. That was actually given to us from my sister's neighbor in Shrewsbury. And I said, oh, I can use that tree on the bandstand, so that actually belongs to the town now,
Good, good.
and that's heavy.
Well, I've worked with a lot of the things at Phillipston, the activities during the summer, so I know where we go through and get donations and stuff, so.
And we actually, it's now February, and we're already planning.
Yeah, you
December.
have to.
You can't, you just, it's constant.
Yeah.
It's a constant. So, but it's fun, you like doing it, it's a fun day. It's cold, but it's fun, that's what it's for.
We could always hold it in the summer, it'd be warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas in
We thought about
July.
doing Christmas in July.
Yeah, we
As
did
a
that.
fundraiser, we did, but
Yeah.
that didn't pan
Yeah, we do that. So I'll
Alright, sounds
keep
good.
in touch with you on the
Yeah.
people when I'll talk to them again, because they called me and said, what's going on? And
We're gonna put something in the paper also, when we have the date set, and we're gonna have it right at the library.
Yeah.
Stephanie already told us we could have it over there, so, and I'll send you an email with it.
Yeah, let me
When we
know,
get the date.
because I'll get them involved. And
Yeah,
they
that'd
said
be
that,
great.
you know, they were interested in doing something. So,
Good.
okay, you open your mouth.
Even like, some woman actually, she emailed, replied on Facebook, she brought her child every year, enjoyed it. She moved out of town, but she enjoyed it so much, she said, I can't help, but I'd like to make a donation.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a P.O. box. I keep track of everything, so. I still have slips, receipts from the last 5 years sitting in the town hall. I don't get rid of receipts. I have to touch them. You never know, I can look back and.
Very good.
Sounds good. We're looking forward to Christmas, right after the 4th of July.
So we're set up for next month, right?
Yep. The
Well,
next 7.
What's the
Seven.
next meeting?
March
March
7th.
March 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's DPW, right?
Public safety, DPW, town clerk.
Yep.
DPW, town clerk.
Oh, fire,
Yeah,
police.
public safety.
Public.
Okay,
That'll
so
be,
That's police, that's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad I suggested the treasurer collector.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't on for tonight, but I said to her, can we
Yeah.
get somebody in so we can
Mm.
get him out of the way?
I would move Ellen up, but I know that she's been trying to catch up on the minutes from the special, so,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're just kind of on a tentative budget, she might show
Yeah.
up better figures by that point.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought the more we can get through.
That's still, that's 6:30, right?
Yep.
We'll see when we get some numbers from the school, but we'll see. I don't think they're gonna tell me one thing until house
Last
comes out
minute.
of their budget.
Nothing changes over there.
To my own calculations, I mean, basically, I think what it comes down to is, right now, their preliminary budget is at like a 5.8% increase, and I think we need to be at like a 2.2% increase. So we'll see how that plays out.
You just shake your head and say, why do you have somebody go through with a 5 or 6% budget in this world today?
You
You're
can't,
wasting your
60% of
time.
it can only raise, you can only raise 2.5%
Well, I'm
anyway.
just
Right.
saying, I don't care what it is, you know, it's just, wasting your time, because all you're gonna do is
Yeah.
recirculate again.
And I don't know, how are other regional school budgets compared to us with the same amount, you know,
It's tough to really
students?
compare apples to apples on that, because every regional school has a different number of towns, different number of kids, different area to cover, so that either is gonna increase your, because like, we're unique in that every town itself has its own elementary schools. You have the elementary schools costs or operational costs to cover, plus you have transportation costs because of the rural character of the town. So basically, automatically you can't count anything inside 495 because they're on their own calculation and get whatever they ask for.
Yeah.
Right.
So that, you know, like somebody like Wachusett Regional, I think we only have maybe 2 or 3 schools in it, but they have a $90 million budget. So.
I think the last report that I saw statewide, I mean, our teachers and our administration numbers are right there. I mean, they're not high, they're low.
We're $2 million above what minimum net school spending is, which isn't outrageous, but
Right.
also,
But
unfortunately, a lot of
transportation
people,
is what really,
transportation hits you hard.
one of the things that really killed us.
But we're lucky enough that 80% of that cost, had been 75%, but last year they increased it to 80% of that cost is reimbursed by the state, but it's a significant cost. Yeah, it's just the character of the rural schools with the decreasing population.
Yeah. What's up with that? Nobody wants to drive, huh?
You know, I'd sit here and say we need to get more people in town, but that would mean our assessments would go up. We'd
Yeah.
start sending smart kids to Barry. So it's like you need everybody that's in the district to all be going up in the same.
More room for Hubbardston to go up.
Yeah. I know that at least in talking to them, we talked about the, you can't get the assessment numbers out of it. It's like pulling teeth. They won't give you what the student increase numbers were. They said that Hubbardston's gonna have the biggest hit this year, so.
But more students.
More students. Yeah.
We just have to get people in town that don't have children.
Exactly. Don't say so.
Require.
Yeah, a no children town.
Require, you can't move into town with children.
Welcome to Barry, a 55 plus community.
55. Hardwick could probably do that, or New Braintree.
Give me 1 more year and I'll take a kid off your,
Yeah.
off your enrollment. She'll graduate.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the whole things is that those numbers they're zooming down,
Yeah.
you know? But I always said that the number of kids are going down, the price is going up, and we have no kids, we won't be able to afford it. Because
And
it
then at the
costs too
same time,
much.
you have the schools are, supposed to close a school and consolidate everybody in that one town. There's no way you're not closing our school. Why don't you close theirs? So.
Yeah.
When I was on that committee, okay, to me, one of the things that was very clear was that if you want to consider the school department as a big business with a lot of quote buildings, if they close a building, they should still be in charge of the building when it's closed. But to simply say, we're gonna close it, you're gonna pay for it, is insanity.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, but.
So, I mean, but day one, you know it's not gonna work until you fix that problem.
What they should do is have a solid plan in place with a tentative agreement there, and then bring it to the town and say, listen, we're absolving, we're no longer gonna use this as a school building, but so-and-so is gonna be moving in, they're going to reimburse the town X amount for the use, and it'll become your revenue source, so, here.
Yeah.
And they should do that, but they could do that as part of their business and just not even tell the town. In other words, just say, we end up using that school for a profit, the cost of your school goes down. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but the way they pick to do it is nonsensical to start out with. Crazy.
See how it all plays out. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Do you want to give them a brief on the I thought that was interesting.
Okay, yeah, so, the new way the,
As to what's going on.
senior center agreement is gonna be structured, is
Mhm.
basically what we're gonna, so the way it is currently is basically Harvard just gives us $7,500 as a, thank you very much for letting us use your senior center. What we're gonna do is, starting with the next fiscal year, is do it on a percentage of what their actual usage of the building is. So anytime anybody goes to use the senior center, they gotta scan in to say, yep, it registers, I'm a resident of this town. And it registers whether or not that person is there for the first time, or only goes once, or if they go there 100 times. We're gonna use it on the fact that they used it, if, you know, that one person actually went that one time. When we look at that statistic, basically 28% of the usage is coming from Harwich residents, the remaining usage is from the Barry residents.
That's higher than I would have thought.
Right, so, so if we take the overall budget and we say that we're gonna split that now by what the previous 12 months usage was, that's what the assessment to each town will be. So,
I know my neighbors live in Hardwick, and they like going
right,
there.
so that's gonna
They
increase.
go there a lot.
So that's gonna increase the revenue
Yeah.
source to us from $7,500 to about $20,000
Yeah.
next year.
That's nice.
But the thing is, I think that, that offers a little better, for the money, offers a better situation than splitting it out and having three little places.
We're looking to, you know, bring in other towns.
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of convincing them that, yes, your residents will come to Barry, and the Barry people, you don't need to have your own
Right.
place to have a successful
Right.
senior, or council meeting.
Well, they had mentioned Peterson. Oh, you
Peterson
did?
and,
Yeah,
New Braintree.
yeah. Peterson, I would think, would be, because there really isn't much in that.
Right. The tough part is when you don't actually have council on aging to begin with. It's,
Oh.
you need a council on aging
Nobody to deal
formed
with.
in order to get the grant funding, so that way then
They don't have one in Peterson?
I don't believe so.
No?
Oh, boy.
That's
There's a
always what
lot of
how-
older
how-
people in
or
Peterson,
Eileen was
too.
explaining is that they don't have that structure in place, so you need to get those people on the board. They have to then kind of go through the process of getting state grant funding, which is part of the incentive to us too, is that we get the money from Hardwick plus the support of the council, or the money from the state that
Yeah.
they qualify for, so.
I mean, this makes more sense.
What we'll do is we'll actually do it on a
Hey,
calendar, do it on that
the
calendar.
zoning board.
And then, that calendar year will go and assess the next fiscal year, so that way, January to December, you look back, and then in February, you're making it for the next 12 months. So there's no surprises to say, what do you mean our percentage increased by another 12%?
Yeah.
That's good.
$250, is that enough? You need more? $250 for the zoning?
For zoning? Yeah, we hardly, actually, we just had a hearing.
Yeah,
This is
I saw that.
first time we've had it.
Yeah.
It went like 3 years with no variance.
Just have to be double booked.
Was that my neighbor again? Old Colebrook Road?
We good?
Yep.
Okay, everything okay, that okay?
No
with you?
questions for this guy? We're ready to leave here.
I'm waiting for you guys to adjourn, because I want you all
Okay,
to
good.
sign my nomination papers.
Oh.
Ulterior motive.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
bring it up.